Dude, I really, really need to figure out, like, I need to work on my intro. I've got to edit this thing into something with audio.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, what kind of audio would you put to a car wreck?
Well, I have the rights to use Tom Burgeon's music from Trust Obey for all the versions of his Fear and Bullets album. I've got that.
Okay.
So, hey, Lion Ratton's here. And do I highlight him? Oh, he's taking a while to come through. There it is. There he is. Hello.
Hey.
I have things to open, but with Mo here, I thought I should open the independent work I got from my LCS, because that makes Mo happy. So that might be my one for the night. We'll see.
Okay.
And what do you got going on?
This week I got something from Michael Shea, lesser known comics, and our boy Tyler Carpenter.
Yay!
This is a couple of packages that we still haven't opened from last time, including this original page from Russell Nolte. So
you want to go chronological?
Chronologically, man, I don't remember when I got these things.
What, you don't obsessively keep your things stacked in a particular order so that you can open them only?
I don't have the mental capacity for that. My brain is too busy doing all the other stuff. Like, it's chaos around me. I also kind of rely on Freak Girl to keep things organized. She was a kindergarten teacher for a really long time, so she knows how to, like, make sure that I can find my keys.
She's wonderful. Okay, now I thought of this a minute ago, so I'll just start with this while we wait for people to trickle in. I had to turn down a date. Hey, Joshua, Rain Radio's here, and I'm supposed to click there? Is that? And Justice for Percival, I don't know who that is. But, I'm sorry, he's giving us a tag. All right, we can look that up later. So I had to turn down a date, and he wanted to know why, and I said I'm not into trans women. That's why. And he wasn't so offended. He kind of understood, and I'm speaking he biologically. And then just disclaimers for YouTube. But he wanted to know what was the giveaway, and because he had the makeup, he had the hair done, he had obviously one surgery at least, and I'm looking to start a family and get married, so dates for fun aren't exactly my thing, and then dates just for dating, I should say. So, and I said, no, the giveaway that you were a trans woman was I first noticed your sense of humor.
You were too funny.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Okay, your turn. Let's get you up here.
I think that was a hilarious joke, man. That's
okay, this button.
It's kind of true.
How do I can use this button that does this. It makes my thing, my camera bigger, but somehow if I clicked on you, and
you have to drag me to the top.
I have to drag. Okay. All right. I'll just leave you here.
Where you are is in spot 1. If you put me in spot 1, yep. Now click that button.
Wrong button.
Hey!
There we are. Okay, hit it.
All right. Which one do you want me to open?
Whatever you think is the oldest one, like that original artwork. I think is
the
not
oldest one. The oldest one's at the bottom of this pile over here. I could actually probably check the dates somehow, right? Yeah, this.
I don't want to be precise. October, I just wonder, like, if they mailed you animals November, or something, we need to move the carcasses out.
Yeah, right. We do need to get the dead bodies off of the stack. Actually, yeah. So it looks like October is the oldest one, and then we got a November. All right.
Solo up.
We're gonna get to it, boys. Let me switch my camera around real quick so that you guys can see the table rather than my ugly mug while I open this. All right. So this will cut from here. And hopefully, don't slice our fingers off, right? Looks like there's a poly mailer inside the envelope. I do appreciate that.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Mike Odin wants to know if he missed it yet. I don't know what he means, but we're just starting. So no, you're here in good time.
Who's Odin? Is Odin here?
Yeah, Odin's here. Everybody behave. Don't talk about Rome.
Right. Don't talk about Rome. what do we got here? We have Nightfall. Okay. I don't remember this. This is the problem. I'm looking at campaigns and stuff, or I have someone in my DMs or something, and they're like, "Would you take a look at what it is we're doing?" And it winds up being something like this, and I have no recollection where it came from.
No.
So we have a nice chromium cover here. Right? It's pretty and it's got that shininess. We've got 4, looks like 4 total comics. This one is part 3. This one is part 1. This one is part 5. And this is also part 5. Okay, so I've got 2 part 5s, 1 part 1, and 1 part 3. And I'm wondering, no, they're on the other side too.
Okay. For a moment, it was sort of a major chord, but no.
Right. For a moment, I was like, what did I order? Was I high? Yeah. So
was this part of your market? Is this market research stuff you were ordering, or?
That's a good question. It's from Constant Hustle Comics. Lambert seems to be the writer on it. Wingless. Why do I know this name? I can
high school friend?
No. None of my high school friends make comics. They're like they're running Fortune 500 companies and shit. They're not in comics, my friend.
Okay, they are the successful ones because they don't slam their books' spines on the table.
No, they don't. I don't think that they read. All right, so we're looking at this. I'm not really able to look at this because I'm looking at it upside down. But yeah, definitely. Script was done by Brian Lambert. I know that name for some reason.
Okay, Concept Moon. I've got something else from Concept Moon where it was promising in terms of I expected them. I really thought they would get better as they went along, and then I lost track of buying them.
I think it's Wingless, which was the reason that I got roped in here because that looks the most familiar. So clearly here what we've got going on is we've got 3 different studios, right? 3 different studios working on one book, which you see a lot. In fact, you might see that coming out of Global Frequency where you have the Global Frequency logo and, another company's or another studio's logo because they collaborate to create a book like this. You can read it in the fine ass print, which is really hard to see. God, do I need glasses. Nightfall issue number 1, Dark Horizons, published by Wingless, division of Wingless Entertainment Limited. Justice something Cuthbert and Associated Characters, copyright trademark 2020 Brian J. Lambert and Wingless Comics. Yeah, so that's what I said. I could kind of recognize Wingless as the publisher. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. We got Prime. Oh gosh, is this dude? Is this the dude who did Icarus Metro?
Maybe.
It might be. Kinetics, actually, he and I was working on something with him a while back. This doesn't look terrible. I'll show you guys so you can see, some of what I'm looking at here.
That reminds me, I gotta double check my camera, make sure it's a little bit better.
Once again, you know what? Let me zoom in and try and make it a little bit tighter. Once again, I'm looking at stuff upside down, so I can't really tell whether or not you guys are getting a good look, or if it's not working at all. You just let me know. I'm also not looking at the chat while I'm looking at the books.
That's good because we're talking about you.
Okay, good, awesome.
All right. So, do you think this was market research or loyalty to a collaborator, or?
It's Prime. That's the character. Right? I have to look it up. This was probably it's hard to say. It was probably market research and it was probably Kickstarter. I'm betting it was Kickstarter. And we're gonna find out real quick. Nightfall.
Not quick enough for the stream.
Yeah, there it is. Nightfall Part 3 Witching Hour. Yeah, Wingless Comics. I don't know why I backed this. That's always good though, right? Like you never know why you back things and just get them and have no knowledge of why, and then of course you'll remember down the line, I guess. It is the third campaign that they did. And once again, I mean, like, there's no way for me to know until I open it up what the hell it is.
So, right. Or why you this
or,
is
yeah.
This is why we got to open the oldest times. First.
Right. It's one of those times where I have no idea. Okay, there. We're going to click on Wingless Comics. Brian Wyckoff is the campaign runner. He's done 8 campaigns and backed 277 on Kickstarter. He's done Nightfall 1 through 5, so it's had 5 campaigns. Looks like he's got around 180 concurrent or like persistent backers, like they keep coming back, repeat backers. 180, 179. And he also has done Justice and The Fall. So
that's a lot of repeat backers.
Well, I mean, it's just 180 for every campaign. I've seen more, right? Like we've seen plenty of campaigns around our neck of the woods that have like 200 backers that consistently, come back. But it is a lot for a smaller publisher. And the fact that he's got 5 campaigns for one book, and they all have like 179 or 183 backers. So he's got that core audience, means that he's not losing people, right? He's keeping them on. And then he's got 8 total campaigns. So he has a couple of other books. Those have more. Those have like 230 backers. But it looks like this book has cultivated a dedicated readership, and they're in to pick it up. It's nice to see, though, because this is like a very almost 90s action-oriented comic. Like, you can see the dynamic posing, right? Definitely feels more 90s than stuff from like the 80s, the late 80s and 70s. Like that dynamic pose with the eyes and the crackling lightning.
But it doesn't have all the mistakes in color in computer coloring that the 90s had.
That's fair. It is dark. I did print dark, but once again, watch those blacks, those black color values. We got the backer page back here, the thank you. So this is, like I said, this is the first issue. When did number 1 come out? Let's find out. I'll flip this around so you can stare at that without having to look at it upside down.
I'm also checking. I got a message from RJ, who does Thomas Valiant, and my contribution got refunded because I told him that I noticed on a different perk, which I wasn't buying, that he had no shipping on it. And so he corrected that and refunded mine so I can back it again. And it's like, I didn't need that. My perk was fine.
So you just noticed the mistake on the shipping of one of the other perks.
Yes. Gotcha. Yes. I mean, he's trying to be thorough, but I think he's also a little hurried, and his internet's a little wonky, so he doesn't have all the opportunity to really spend time going over things. Hey, Freak
So
Girl.
One of the things I hate about Kickstarter, and there's a lot of things that I hate about Kickstarter, it's all on the UI side, it's all on the user interface, right? Is that they don't have a date when the campaign ended, like when it was run. They only have the last updated section. And a lot like Indiegogo, people frequently update their old campaigns with information about their new campaigns. So if I'm clicking on this and it says last updated September 12th, 2022, that's going to lead me to believe that this was run in September. Part 1 was run in September. That is not the case, right? I have to go to the updates section, and then I have to scroll all the way down to like the earlier updates. Project 2 is still live. Project 1 digital download. December 10th, 2020. So it looks like he's been at this for about 2 years. He's managed to put out 5 issues of Nightfall. They look like they're 24 to 28 pages each, and he's done 8 crowdfunding campaigns. So this guy's established. He's got his shit together. Whether or not he's profitable, I mean, he's looking at 8K per. Like the early campaigns were 5K, and he's looking at this most recent one was 8K, and a couple of other things. I will have to see if I can get through the first 5 to 10 pages of this, and if it is at all exciting, I will finish at least one of the books.
Okay, I don't want to slander anybody, but I think Concept Moon was a guy who asked me to look over his story as like for editing purposes, but not really as an editor, just to help him warm up and bounce through ideas. So I don't know what his role was in this book. You know, he could be doing inks or letters or the, you know, right. I don't know what, but, and he had a really, what I would call a good concept that just needed a lot of shaping, and his execution was sort of trying too hard.
And I remember the Black-owned indie comic thing, Project Moonlight.
No, not that at all. But I think there were like 3 moons in my life, and I think Concept Moon was one of them, and it might have been that guy. So I think
I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
Here. So because I looked up Concept Moon, which is the logo in the lower right hand corner. This is Concept Moon, the one that we're talking about right now. So as you can see right up there, it says Concept Moon Studios. It's the same people down here. So it looks like it is one of the like all Black comic book creator comic book groups.
That's never stopped me. So yeah.
Right. I mean, me neither.
Or okay, then I'm remembering wrong. It's not the Moon guy who asked me to edit his stuff, which I sent him back and said, basically, you got to check your spelling, and outside of what was it? If you're trying to communicate with people, you need to actually use grammar and sentences. But if it's outside of anything having to do with the way a character talks, get your language correct so that you communicate clearly. Yeah. Okay. These guys, no, this is somebody else. This is somebody totally different, where I ended up getting like as an extra on these free fall, that one right there.
This one,
first couple of free falls looked like they would improve over time, especially with the printing. Their preprint on number 1 had problems. And then they, as like a bonus, it came with the Sun Eaters and something else too. But yeah, Free Fall and Frontline, those are the ones. Now, I'm not saying they're good or whatever, but just, okay, I remember picking them up and thinking, okay, they're cheap enough, I'll go with it, because I think they're going to try and up their quality.
We have some mysteries to solve then, looking into like why Neff backed this, and who Lambert is, and why I remember Wingless Comics.
You probably backed it for Wingless and not anyone else.
Yeah, I probably did, but I don't know who he is. I don't remember who he is because I can't remember anybody's names.
All right. Well, we've beaten that to death.
I don't really remember yours. So let me flick this.
Dude, I keep calling you Jeff because I've always had a Jeff in my life.
Well, I mean, the last name's Neff. It's close enough.
Yeah, let's see. That's Moonlight, Bancroft Moon. Is Bancroft here? When did he get here? No. Okay. Sorry. Let's read. Okay. All right. So what have I got here? Well, as long as Mo is here, I might as well. This is the long distance LCS where it's got something kind of independent in it. There we go. By the way, my chair won't pedestal up all the way now, so this desk is just weird to me. It's like way too high and crap. Anyway, I'm opening this only because Mo is here. Mo is probably going to leave for the restroom. Oh, I need to embiggen myself, don't I? Okay. Do this. And then is it? Yeah. Now, I think, sorry, that's probably loud on the microphone whenever something slams my desk. I think there might be a doxing sheet in here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I gotta look for that first. Oh, of course, right on top. So if I do this backwards, we'll be okay. Oh, tape. Tape hates me. All right, give me a moment on this. Even though I have to keep paying Mike Oden like $1 a month so he doesn't tell everybody who I am.
Well, I mean, I have your name technically too.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
So honestly, that's why I'm on the show. I blackmailed you. With,
pretty much. Yeah, it wasn't because I was just looking for people to. Here we go. The Weebery will continue until morale improves. So, the best of Attack on Titan in color. So,
wow.
Yeah,
it's a good looking book, though.
It is. And from American perspective, it's all sealed up. From our perspective in America, this qualifies as an indie. So it's all for you, Mo.
I mean, because it's not industry publisher. Yeah, that's a good point. It's Shueisha, right? Shonen. Who put it out?
Kodansha. Right. And I don't mind saying Shingeki no Kyojin, except that I put all the pauses in the wrong place. I finally recognized the word no from Japanese speakers. My vowel is a little bit misaccented, or wrongly accented, I should say. And there we go. Ha. And they don't pause before the no. It's blended into the prior word, as far as I could tell. I'm sure if Dojo Kun were here, he could correct me 20 times on it, which, I appreciate. It sounds not kind, but I appreciate him. There we go.
They also do like regular books too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're probably more light novels than regular books looking at the covers, but they're not relegated to just manga, Kodansha. No. But they do have a buttload of manga.
Yeah.
They really a lot.
Once I open the hardcover side, the rest of it just falls open real nicely. So here we are.
So are you going to bang the spine on the desk to make sure that the pages stay in?
I don't take breaking in a book literally. Okay. There we go. Oh, aren't these
Mo
lovely?
Says they do everything backwards in the East, it seems. I pay for a dude to take trash away from my house. Oof. That was a good one, Mo. Very good.
Oh, and what did your that's you. Okay, Freak Girl.
Yeah.
Go find out why I backed this knife.
I mean, like, come on. If I can't remember, she'll find out for me.
And who is this? Hello, Jay Ryan. How are you doing? Is this a Leem Korean format edition? No, it is not misformatted with Korean attempts at remonging. So, and let's see. I think this is
pages out of order.
Yeah, that I feel so frustrated and sorry for him. Like frustrated that he didn't do his job of putting his foot down, and sorry for him that he had to fight and fight and fight till he got worn down and just gave up. Because his employee was not doing as told. It just, So, hello, Jay Ryan. Let's see. Oh, Freak Girl says you might have had him on the show.
Probably. That's why I remember the name Brian Lambert kind of like in the back of my head. So he must have reached out to us.
Now, I'll open another one if our crowd of like 4, 5, 7 people want, but it's your turn, man.
Okay. Well, then next up on the progressive stack is this one from December. Oh, no, November. There's one more from December. If we're getting the old ones out of the way, which is what we're looking to do right now.
I'll solo you up. Solo. There you go. My knife's bigger than yours, which means I'll hurt myself worse. I'll hurt myself worse with it than you will.
Well, you know what they say. It's not the size of the knife. It's like the motion of how you stab yourself or something. I don't think they actually say that.
But... We'll do that later in the show. Yeah.
Oh, it's Ballad of the Celestials. Nice. You remember this, right?
Yes. I have a copy of one of them.
I think I got all the covers because it was their first campaign, and I like to splurge on the first one at the very least.
You do that too? You try to make sure the first one gets going so that just in case they're good, they can keep going?
Yes. Sometimes I wind up backing kitty boxes more than once.
Yeah, and then if they really end up sucking, you realize that it's your fault they've been upon the world.
You leave my name out of this. I like this. I like this cover. I don't know which one's the main cover.
You're right. No, that one with the blue sky.
This one. No. This one.
Yes.
This one.
He's not here to.
This one right here.
Fix it for us.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna look at this. It looks like we've got a really cool print off the back. A little A5, I think. Same size as the comic, right? And make it nice and sensible to keep it in the book that way. You got the trading card in this one. Looks like a nice metal trading card. Ooh, it's actually really cool. I like that design. So there's I don't know if you can see very well. I'm gonna slide. It's plastic. There's like a tree, the one in white, one in dark. It's kind of this mirror image. I like that it's double-sided. I like that I'm not going to cut my fingers open on the edges of the metal. This is Mayer. I don't know how to say the name. I'm terrible with pronunciation too. What am I getting? I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a print and we got a metal trading card, which we'll put off to the side. And then let's take a look at the book. All right.
Yeah, when I said I had this one, we just flashed it by in that stack I had. So here we go.
All right. So we've got Murph and Dirk doing the writing and the art. You know, they have a band, right? Or one of them has a band.
Really?
Yeah, they were on the show. I don't know if it's Murph or if it's Dirk, but one of them plays in like an actual metal band. And I was like, bruh, soundtrack. Why don't you have a soundtrack for this comic?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool idea. All right.
Read Dirk's dedication, says Mo.
What's that?
Mo wants you to read the dedication.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume that's the beginning.
Is it in the back? Dedications. I don't know. They usually are in the beginning, aren't they?
The band is called Ugly Tongue.
Yeah, that was it. Ugly Tongue.
They did music for their trailer.
Okay, so on the front of the book, it says, "Age before age and time before time, an epic of rage by the sublime. A ballad is sung, new eras declared, the bells have been rung, none will be spared."
I don't think that's
our song goes forward, our voices proclaim, and all is disordered to incite the flame. So he's trying to hit the iambic pentameter. Is rung? It looks wrong. It's probably correct, but it looks wrong to me with a WRUNG.
Yeah, it's correct. It's correct.
Ring. That's correct, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because people have normalized so many errors in grammar and especially verb tenses that it's ridiculous. That now correct things look weird to us.
Oh, look, it's an ad for RJ with all of the books that he's fulfilled. I have that, and I have that. And I have that, and I have that. Well, I mean, I don't have that. Nobody has that yet. Come on, Aria, we're waiting. And
I have that bottom. That. I'm pointing at my screen, like anyone can see that. I have the bottom, whatever that is. Red Eyes.
Oh, okay, Red Eyes. That's from Red Eyes is from Alterna. This is the Embrace down here. You mean all the way at the bottom?
Red Eye on the other column.
Oh yeah, that is Red Eyes. It's a little bit pixelated. Yeah, that's Red Eyes. Tailless. Vestry. I think that's the Vestry, right? Or no, that's the Incantessi. Yeah, I don't have this yet.
Nope.
Why? I do have Glen in Monsterland, though.
I did not do Incantessi. Sorry, what was that?
There's Company Men, Glen in Monsterland. This is Vestry over here.
Mm-hmm.
So where is this dedication Mo wants me to read?
He said back page. I think he's sending us on a wild Mo chase.
I'll chase it down because what else is there to do? There's a page in the back that is like their notes, right? He wants me to read Dirk's or he wants me to read Murph's.
I'd flip a page and see if you're on the wrong one.
I don't know. So like this is the front of the book, right? And inside the front cover, there is this, and then like the thing that looks like it's written in runes. Then there's the tarot cards. Then there's the end of the book.
Right, I'm going to go find my copy.
On the very back page, you have these two areas, one by Murph and one by Dirk. And it's like notes from the rightist. Oh my God, I can't crawl. Notes from the artist and, words from the writer or whatever. I'm just going to read it because Mo wants me to. So Murph's says, "First, I would like to thank my parents who would always encourage me to read and would never fail to take me to the big, scary comic book stores. Second, would go to my uncle Patrick Burns, who introduced me to many books, but especially to the Uncanny X-Men. My cousin Jeff Burns, who shared in my love for the Band of Mutants, for every art teacher's guidance and encouragement, Gary Kengemi Rip 2017 for his art, teaching, and seeing him create his own comic book, to Kaylin Kelly, who always pushed me out of my comfort zone, for Uncanny Omar and near mint condition community to bring back my love of comics, to all in the Comicscape community who accepted us without question, to Brent Beshare, who always contributed with great ideas, to everyone who helped with making this, and last but not least goes to Derek, Clay, and his family, because without them, this would never have been made. Thank you for all your help and with giving our story a chance. That's awesome. It's a really nice dedication.
I'll start off the other one. Okay, this book could not have happened without the encouragement of my mother, Rita Clay, RIP 1997. She believed in me and always knew I was an artist from an early age. I hope this book makes her proud of me. Thanks to my father, Daryl Clay, for giving me the drive to reach my dreams. Thank you to my wife, Casey Clay, and 2 sons, Caden and Ethan Clay, for suffering through my long hours at the art table. To my brother, Dana Clay, for her unwavering support. Thanks to Ed, who first showed me how superheroes were drawn. To my brothers of the tongue, our band Ugly Tongue, Rich Goebel. There we go. Now I can see Rich Goebel, Donovan Goebel, Josh Holtzschult, and Ryan Bushong for your support in contributing to the theme song for the comic trailer and the YouTube channel. To my musical heroes for making my time at the art table fly. Thank you all for my subscribers. Oh, here we go. Murph and Dirk, my subscribers of Murph and Dirk Duke It Out, especially the members of our chat, Crazy Mad and Mo Biggs.
Hey, that's awesome.
That's why he wanted you to read it. Okay, you guys make our show exciting. Yes, basically that's why I owe Mo so much, is he makes it interesting to be here. And to Michael Bancroft for welcoming us and showcasing our campaign on his channel. Yes, Michael's been really good about that. I also want to thank the countless people who have met online in the comics community and who have given us guidance and support to complete our first book. Our team of artists, Peter and Paul, can't read the word, it's covering the art. Eric and Diffo, thank you for making our book legit. Amazing work. Kemosabe Returns for putting in the extra polish to our story and helping us find Peter and Paul. Chris Fisk, oh, he's a cool guy. Okay, Chris Fisk for getting us ready for print. And a huge thank you to Brent Brasher, our brother, sounding board and all-around comics enthusiast. And finally to Murphy, who created this fun adventure and sparked my imagination to draw again. Brought to you by the letter M. And I think I probably could have stopped reading after the part where
after the Mo Biggs comment.
Yeah,
but it was nice to acknowledge Chris Fisk, right? And it was nice to acknowledge Chemo. Like it's cool to see names that you know from people you're familiar with in those dedications,
especially when from people you're unfamiliar with, because I barely have seen these 2 guys. So
right, there's Peter Palmiotti, right? There's Brent Brashear, there's Lee, of course there's Eric Weathers, and there's Paul Billick, the colorist. I know that name too. Why do I know Paul Billick? Who else's book did he do? He did somebody's. Did he work on Odin's book? Was he on the Embrace?
I don't recall.
I don't recall either. It was somebody's. Paul, I apologize for not remembering anything about you. Okay, so that's 2. We've got 2 so far. If you've got another one, we can do that, and then we can talk about the book.
Okay, chat, do you want me to open another one or just move on to the books? One for I open another one too for the books, if you would, please. We're taking a vote among people who probably aren't at their keyboards.
Okay. Yes,
Jay. Okay, the Art and Times says, didn't their colors die? Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
2 says move on to the books. Is the other one a manger? No, it is not a manger. I don't think so. You might
actually,
count it as one.
Actually, no, it's not. It itself is not a manger, but it is by someone who does manger.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
No.
Move on.
Oh,
okay.
maybe you're talking about the package you want to open.
Yes. We'll just okay. We've gotten to moving on to okay. Then I need to clean up some old business so that we can do this rightly. I am sorry. I don't mean to advertise for this company. I hate them. It's just a mug somebody gave me. So. Okay, before I dry out.
The cold foam, cold brew, espresso, roast, whatever.
I used to know one of the kids down at the Starbucks inside the grocery store, and I knew a few of them, and they figured out how to make an almost sugarless Java chip frappuccino for me, because when you take out the frappuccino mix, it yanks out a bunch of sugar, but it also changes the consistency and all that. And so I've known people at Starbucks who are really awesome, but the company has issues. Okay. All right, so that's one vote that doesn't count. So we're going to move on. So to clean up business from last week, if you were here for the interminable discussion that we did of the buckler, we found something interesting from a character that points out a difference between how Neff and I read. Best friend growing up was Jeff. There's always, and then college there was another Jeff. So there's always a Jeff in my life. Sorry about that. There is a background character who's manipulating some of the foreground characters, and he is the thin mustache man. I think we called him Hairlip Jose or something like that. We're calling him that now, but we never find out his motives. We never find out why he's doing what he's doing. And so far it is. It's still intact. I'm trying. Anyway, and Hairlip Jose, we don't get all that. Now, why is Neff so bothered by that and I'm not? Is Neff says, here's a graphic novel. Everything I need should be in here. And for him, if he is ever curious about anything, then it should have been in the book. Whereas I can let go of some of that curiosity. Like we ran across Hairlip Jose and I didn't know who that was. So we must find out who he is later. And then put him out of my head and then kept reading. And then he shows up again later and we find out how nefarious he is. And then thanks a lot. And then, I put it out of my head again. And then at the end of the book, I'm not even, I finish and I don't even realize we never found out who he was or what his motives were or whatnot. And the reason I'm more accepting of that is because I know that that'll come out later with further books and whatnot. Whereas Neff has a really, and this is even, to be continued next issue, etc. I know the bigger story isn't over. One
second. Yeah. Don't put words in my mouth. I have no problem with supplemental material. I do have a problem not knowing who a major person driving the plot is. If I don't know who that person is, why they're there, what they're doing, right, that's a little bit more of a problem to me.
And even if
in my own book, I have a bunch of supplemental stuff that isn't talked about in the main book. The main book barely references it. It exists on the periphery. And if you read that stuff, it makes the main book more meaningful. Like, oh, that's significant. I know that. But you don't need to know any of it to appreciate and enjoy the main book. That's my problem.
Right. You don't miss out on the main story. So for me, in the Buckler, it was... the main story was what was going on with the buckler, like we said, but in a contained graphic novel, self-contained, where it's supposed to be in there and there's no more, then you read it that second time to enjoy it and you come across Hairlip Jose and you're like, wait a minute, who was this guy? And now you can't enjoy it on the second time through. It's ruined. So contained graphic novel, I would agree with Neff on we got to know who this guy was. For something that's continuing, I can be more patient. And Neff looks at him as like a major part of the story. Well, because he's so major, I think he's going to come out later. I'm still okay with that. And I that's where we kind of differ. So it was good to learn that, but I hope you guys understand. I do. Jeff is a great villain. Scud. I do a lot of this stuff to kind of do reviews as I learn, and I'm here to learn and grow a bunch. So there's that. I did read this. This book, real quickly on the buckler, is his adventure of the tiki thing that came before. It's a prequel to this, and it seems like when the tiki is being stolen from an archaeological site in Canada, old Native American mystic powers that are not defined, a problem, are having an effect on the buckler and kind of mind controlling him, and that wears off by the time we get in the other book, so it's kind of irrelevant, and we don't know, but if you just read the other book, you're just being dropped into an adventure at the end where he's chasing the tiki that the other guy got. So it's weird, and you wonder how bad of a villain is the buckler. So I'm bringing this up because this bleeds into our main book today. with the buckler outside of mind control, but back to him, I see him as likable because he's just hapless, well-intended and hapless. He's not a jerk. Oh crap! Now I can't remember what I was going to tie that to, but that's fine.
I like the buckler because I like him because I don't like him. He's not even really an anti-hero.
No,
he's just this side of a villain, and I find that interesting and refreshing. Look, I know Mo's going to hate this, but some of the best characters are the foil for the main character, the main hero in shonen anime or shonen manga. The Vegeta character or the Bakugo character, they can be the most entertaining and flavorful in a story. What Dillard has done is he has made that character, who's usually the ancillary foil to the main character, and he's made that the protagonist. And I find that interesting. I want to see more of the buckler. I do. And I think Dillard has a really cool character who's got a really cool attitude and way of speaking and a personality. I would just like to see it presented in a more coherent way.
Speaking of coherent, I got ahead of myself. I was going to make this comparison of the buckler as a non-villain hapless hero to who I like. I don't want to be within 20 feet of him, but I like him. I can see him as a failing hero who's getting impatient with the direction his life is going in that way, as opposed to another book, I saw him, where that guy is just a villain and too stupid to realize it. Okay, but this is different. Well, it's too stupid to realize it I don't want to do a review of ISOM right now. It is just so bad. But I meant to make that comparison. I got ahead of myself. This is the wrong video. So anyway, now that that's cleared up, I'm cool with the buckler, even though he sucks as a hero and would be, but he's not a literal villain. He just is terrible. Also, he's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be humorous. Okay, now if we can keep Neff from exploding like a champagne bottle.
Odin says, emotional breakdown time. You didn't download the clip of emotional damage, did you?
No, okay. I did not. I hate that voice on that one. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. This book sucks. This book sucks so hard. It's like you could vacuum the Empire State Building with this book. The pencils that are shown in these chapter breaks are actually really good, and they're individual panels from what comes later, like right here. The inks took away from the pencils, and the color took away from the pencils as well. This book is convoluted. It is not complex. It tries to explain everything by the end of it, but that's the problem. It explains it. Do I need to be highlighting people here? And at the end, it's one of these things where they build a story, they being Tyler, the writer. This is an early outing of him. We're not condemning Tyler. And he builds up this story. It's got all these layered complexities. He has memories being recovered out of plot convenience, and it is just terrible. And then at the end, he has to just sit down and explain it to you because he couldn't show it to you during oh my god, it is this book sucks. Where's the what do you call it, where they just say it, exposition. The exposition is just killing me in some of these scenes at the end, where our main character is explaining to our protagonist character, the hero, but we're kind of riding on her shoulder. It's rough. There's one piece of art in here where he's loading a magazine and a gun with his amputated robot arm, and the art in here suffered so badly. Where is that one? You texted it to me earlier today.
I don't know. Let me look for it with one of these sticky notes I have.
It's a late pit. You have so many sticky notes on this one.
I got it right
here. It is. Okay.
It's the WTF page.
Yeah, I gotta make me big. Sorry.
That's right here. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got her.
Yep.
That one. See, in fact, I'm gonna clear here. Wait. Yes. Get things off the screen. Pardon me for a moment. Zip. Okay. You see the MC Escher triangle in this thing? Like, the gun handle isn't parallel to the magazine, which should be going in squarely, I think, unless there's something about these firearms I don't know. But the way the rest of this is drawn, like, unless this gun twists out right here, this triangle between here, and you can't. And by the way, this piece of machinery down here is his other arm pushing in the magazine. That's his amputated arm robot replacement thing. Like, Okay, and bad trigger discipline. I do not want to be around Tyler with holding a gun because he doesn't know when to take his finger out. Look at that. This is, oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't do MC Escher in comic book art unless it contributes to the story in some way. Oh, that got me. I'm sorry.
So to be fair to Tyler, he didn't draw it. He just wrote it.
I know.
Joe Wong did the pencils.
Yes.
I do want to point out, since you've got it open there, and you know what, I'll just flick this over real quick. I think, yeah, real quick here. Camera. There we go. Right.
Yeah.
This is some of the regular line work. All right. Mm-hmm. There are some. I think. Am I revealing? Yeah, revealing the ending. Whatever. Here we go. This is a page of lines. Blue line, right? It's not actually bad. The pencils they're not great, but they're solid enough that I would expect with some color, this could be punched up to be, legitimate comic book art level. The problem is the inks. If you look at that page and you flip over to it in the book, the inks are so heavy on the line work and so scratchy. Actually, I don't think I'm finding that page, but we'll just look at
just look at your screen.
Something like this, right? You can see the line, the ink work is just so heavy, and it, like, the shadows are good amount of contrast. There's no depth. There's no layer to the color. It almost looks like it was just kind of flatted with a couple of highlights dashed on, to the point where, like, the inks and the colors make the artwork worse. And that's a hard thing to accomplish.
Yeah, he inked it himself, apparently. I hope he didn't ink over his original pencils, because some of these are good. One problem I had with the artwork in here was, if you take a panel, not a page, a panel, as an individual piece. What happens when we do this? Oh, your face gets bigger. Okay. If you take a panel as an individual piece, there we are, and then take another panel as an individual piece, they're okay on their own. But when you put them together as sequential artwork, they don't work because the face inconsistencies are so problematic, especially on the first section. Like, there's some consistency, but not a lot, and it suffers for that. It's really hard to read. This is I love you guys. I really do. Haven't talked about the story yet. No. Did you catch this one? Okay, we got 5 operators just screamed. I can't find the one that I want. But
it's about the trigger discipline in the gun. Yeah.
Yes, but here you go.
Yeah.
What?
I know there was something wrong about the pencils. Nicely done, Mo. Mm-hmm. Nicely done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Jay Ryan followed that up with something wrong.
You guys are killing low. Me. I love it. Ow, bing dang, ow.
The bing bong ow. The magazine in that gun is a metaphor for this whole book. It felt like he was trying to take something that wasn't really well designed in the first place, the magazine, and jam it into a gun that was so convoluted looking. It had like 2 different handholds and a third with the bullpup design, and that gun is just nonsense, right? So It looked like he was taking a idea that didn't really make sense in the first place and jamming it into a plot that made absolutely no sense, and then expecting it to work. But he was also firing it with only one hand. So I think that page perfectly sums up Entity.
Yeah. I think we just covered the plot right there. Unless Odin wants to come on here and tell us, no, that gun's model is actually this, and the magazine goes in at a funky angle, then you got it, man.
No, it's nonsense. The gun is nonsense. The book is nonsense. Like we mentioned before, I will always stick stickies on pages where we have problems that need to be addressed. And I just ran out. We had, I think, 16 stickies in the first 15 pages. By the time we got to the 20th page, there was like 23. I had to tap out and tag in Freak Girl to read the middle of the book and then summarize it for me because the reading was too painful. It was excruciating. And I came back in for the last act, and it didn't end well.
Now, if people know me, they know that I try to look for something good. Actually, no, I don't even try. I initially just notice the thing that's good and used to just not notice the bad things at all. And it probably drove a few people nuts, but people liked it. Here's what I liked about the book, and here's why I liked it. And that seemed to do well with Bancroft. So this book, holy cow. So people have had their minds wiped. They don't know where they are, who they are. This dude is the mind behind everything. He's the evil mastermind of it all, but he doesn't know that right away until later when it's convenient for him to remember that. And he created a virus to fix humanity. The hubris is just ridiculous. And Neff, I don't know this. I'm still split on whether or not this is a good concept. Neff pointed out to me that it's a bad concept because it's been overdone so many times. If I can ignore how many times it's already been done, is it still a good concept on its own is totally a different subject. So this dude wants to fix the world with a virus. It creates zombies, except for some survivors. And he had a backup plan for that. He's Mr. Contingency Batman, like Scott Snyder turned Batman from a detective into Contingency Man, or whoever did that before him. It's just ridiculous. He wipes her mind, and he's essentially wiped minds of people. Imagine dude blowing car reviews. No, thank you. He wiped the minds of people whom he sent out to these space stations to then be retrained in how to become adults and grow up and stuff like that. And sorry. And then tries to bring them to an Earth 2. But for the survivors who aren't out in the space stations with their minds wiped, they're trying to figure out what this entity thing is. This entity is two things at once. It's his wife, whom he's reprogramming. This is so bad. So that she's going to be, like the new Eve on Earth 2, except that there are 50 people on Earth 2. You don't need an Eve. And then, and then just let him go. It's okay. If you guys want to tell him in the chat, no, he doesn't. I don't think he remembers that he muted. I mean, he can kind of hear me, but I'm. Now, did you want to unmute and tell us all that again, Neff?
Am I really? It's probably for the best.
It is
for the best.
So his other backup plan is this other thing they're calling the entity, which is governing over, after he wipes his mind, it governs over getting all of his plan together to save humanity on an Earth 2. And so then his mind gets wiped by his own design. And then in his new identity, he's trying to fight the entity he put up, which is not his wife in this case. So we're using the same label two places because everyone's afraid it's going to destroy humanity, which is his idea. And somehow he gets arrested by robots and taken to her for interrogation, which makes no sense because she's been living in isolation for 3 years with no memory. Like, it is so, oh my God. And then he's supposed to have a change of heart, but his change of heart involves setting off things that are going to destroy humanity anyway. So he has another change of heart to try and get around that. Then he's the hero who might maybe have to sacrifice himself at the end. This is just, and you only find that out at the end. You're like, this is just, he's conveniently revealing information to his wife at bad times. And I can't even remember all what else was wrong with this. Like, I don't care to remember at this point. So anyway, there's mine. Oh.
Yeah. So the thing about Entity is it leaves you confused, but it leaves you confused in a very bad way. I didn't like the premise. I didn't like the setup, like the idea of the setup, the way we're introduced. We're introduced in a way where we don't know what's going on because the main character doesn't know what's going on. We wake up on a space station with her where she's been for 3 years with a mind wipe. She has no idea who she is, how she got there, but she gets taught things from the television every day. Yeah, the setup didn't work for me, and just the convoluted execution of a storyline that wasn't well conceived or composed. Like, he needed an editor. He needed someone to sit down with him from soup to nuts. Like, I charge money for this service, right? Odin knows what I'm talking about. Kimo knows what I'm talking about. When you have a story and you want to tell it and you're, looking to make sure that it gets done well, you sit down with an editor and you go over the script. Now, editors will generally, edit story sparsely. They'll say what works within the script, what doesn't. They won't go down to the bare bones and rework it. That's someone, who's doing an extra special job to try and deconstruct the snarls in your plot. But if you're doing that, someone is helping you arrange your story to figure out how you want to tell, what you've got to say. Then you've got to structure the plot, right? You've got to do the beat sheet. You've got to arrange the scenes. You have to have the list of things that need to happen in order to have it unfold according to a well-designed act structure. This didn't have an act structure. The scenes were poorly composed. The characters weren't really well designed or developed because their development came in fits and spurts, either all at once or not at all. The dialogue was heavy-handed and cumbersome and didn't need to be there. Half the time, there's this one page where I told Odin this earlier. The guy takes the girl hostage. He's got a gun to her head right in the beginning, the beginning of the second chapter. And she says something like, actually, it's right here with the stickies. She says, "Are you kidding me? You're pointing a gun at me." All right. So he's standing there with a gun to her head. He knows he's pointing a gun at her. Right? She knows he's pointing a gun at her. We know he's pointing a gun at her. You could have taken an opportunity to say anything in that bubble. Why are you telling me something I can see plainly on the page?
Yeah.
Tell me something like, this is how you want me to trust you. Something like that to give me the insight to the dialogue back and forth where he can say something in response like, I'll make, if I have to force you to trust me, I will. Something like that to enhance the relationship to build. The problem is he didn't know, it seemed like he didn't know how to use the dialogue to tell the story. People were just saying things because they needed things to say. So that's
Mo makes a good point here, though.
The art of composition, that structure, that's a whole nother editing service, right? Your layouts, your thumbnails, to make sure that stuff got done correctly. He has this other problem where he jumps the 180 several times. There's this page right here where they're doing the interrogation scene, right? So he's sitting here right at the top. He's here, she's here, right? Then the next panel, right, is not actually this one. It's not actually her. This is panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, right? But to read the page, you have to go panel 1, panel 3, panel 2. Because of the way the dialogue is designed, she's actually responding here in panel 2 to what he's saying in panel 3, which is in response to what was said in panel 1. And so now we're reading the page backwards. Like I said, it's not really manga, but it might as well be, in certain.
And we've crossed the 180 line.
That's the point. So he does this page. It's not really a violation. You can cross the 180 line. It's okay. You just have to know how you're doing it, why, and use it intelligently. You have to set up your page so you can cross the 180 line.
Wait, let's go
this
back
was
to
just haphazard, right?
Yeah, let's go back for a moment to what Mo said. Did she say, "You're pointing a gun at me," so that maybe she thought he didn't know he was pointing the gun at her?
Well, it was happening in the dark.
It's a joke.
That's another thing. That was another thing. So he's shackled to this table, or he's in handcuffs at this table with her, right? And then the little bomb thing that we don't understand how it got there shuts the lights off, and then it starts the next scene starts with them like that. So what just happened was the lights went out. He assumedly unhooked himself, stole her gun, grappled her, and put a gun to her head. Now, we've seen no action in the entire first issue, right? That what we're looking at there, that's the second issue.
No, this is the end of chapter 1.
Well, the lights going out is the end of chapter 1.
Really?
I thought so, yeah.
No. And your wife agrees with me.
Here?
That's not the end of... No, chapter 2 starts pages later. But that's irrelevant to the point you're making. The point you're making is we saw no action.
We could have seen that. You could have shown it to us. We've seen her laying in her bed and talking to a guy, and you lost your... You had an opportunity to show us something neat, and instead it happened in the dark. And the closure of them sitting in a room talking to him holding a gun to her head doesn't exist. when you are reading a comic, really when you're doing anything, but especially when you're reading a comic and someone shows you something and then shows you something else, your mind needs to be able to fill in the blank of how that happened in order for you to continue with the progression of the sequential art. That's called closure. Now you can do really cool things like show different panels from different locations. Scott McCloud does a really good one where it's an axe murderer chasing the dude saying, "I'm going to get you." And the next panel is the cityscape with a dialogue or with a word balloon that's just screams coming out of an alley. We go, "Oh shit, that dude totally got it." It makes sense that those two panels are side by side because your brain fills in the middle, and that's closure, right? This problem is we have her sitting at a table with him, darkness, and them with him grappling her. My brain does this, like, but wait, how? And filling in the information, it's all up in the air. Did he get up and roll across the table and knock the gun out of her hand with his foot? And then, like, how did this happen? And you not only lost the opportunity to show us some action early on in the book to make up for the pages and pages of nothing, but you also failed to satisfy that need for closure between those two pages.
Absolutely.
It was not a well-designed book, man.
No, and you've said more. I can't pay you for this. Please stop.
Okay.
Oh, you're a little bit frozen with this sad look on your face. Is so bad. I got to read a few of these. Okay, instead of your mind filling the blank, he could have gone with his gun, filling in the blanks in her mind. Bullet points.
Bullet points. Well played. Well played.
All right, I saw something really good. Okay, Rain Radio. Josh says, half of the writing process Neff describes here is things I do in my head and never write down. I mean, at least doing them in your head. We got the idea that a lot of this book, which is Tyler's first outing, all right? We don't want to completely...
not actually.
No?
Demons was his first outing. Yeah, no. Demons was a series of 3 graphic novels. This was his first outing. So Tyler is this much into making comics by the time. This is a 2020 book.
I thought this was drawn and written in 2016 to 18.
Was it?
Just based on the extra
what it says
notes.
on the back?
Something like that, yeah.
Then it might have been his first book. Honestly, I'm not sure of the chronology. Yeah, he looks really young back here. I just know when it was released. It also says in the back, he was the creator of Entity as well as the series Demons. So Demons had to be done by the time Entity came out.
Yeah. This was, Joe Wong's pencils aren't that bad except for the one gun. Anyway, he needs to not ink his own stuff and then, again, an editor to correct things. But yeah, at least you're doing it in your head. At least you're doing it somewhere, Josh. That's the thing. And that's what your wife says, but you still do it. So,
Jay Ryan, I need a cape. I need a cape. It's true.
Okay, let's see. That's reminiscent of the whole Wolverine versus Lobo fight that all happened off panel. We saw them fall behind the bar, and when we see Wolverine triumphant, missed an opportunity.
But one problem with that, if mind serves, is it's Lobo, right? So there is a degree of satire to just about every Lobo book. So it almost felt like they're doing that to blue ball you. There's he's kind of like DC's Deadpool in a way, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're doing that to you on purpose to blue ball you, and it's a joke. This took itself seriously. This was a mistake. That was probably planned. And if it wasn't planned, well, then I'm shocked. And
Well, what we're really doing is trying to get Tyler Carpenter's attention here, and this whole stream is just an ad for your services for the future. No. So I said that there was going to be, in my tweet announcing this thing, I said that there was going to be, let's see. Oh, Dojo thinks you're giving him way too much credit. There's going to be a backup book in case the first one sucks, which it did. A very greenish backup book. And at the last moment, I haven't even reviewed this book. That is, I haven't reread any of it yet. But Neff said, let's talk about this one instead. Okay, at least I've read it. It was a long time. It was like before I went to school. So we're going mind wipe here.
The reason I said we should talk about it is because Michael Bancroft manages to do something awesome with this book. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have no idea. I am confused reading this book. And yet, I read it all the way through, and I've read it more than once. I've even sat down after thinking about it and reread certain parts, trying to piece together a puzzle. I mean, yes, it leaves off. It's a little short, in my opinion. It leaves off a little bit prematurely. And this book is an entire, graphic novel from start to finish. So there is no real mystery left to be unfolded. But this is good confusing. This is a conundrum. This is a enigma, right? This is a seizure. After that, I don't know where I am. I had a stroke. I smell toast, and I don't know what's going on. This is a mystery. I really like the Lucent because of the way he builds up the story and he paces it well, and he gives you just enough to think that, oh, okay, there's going to be an answer on the next page, right? No, there isn't. But the dialogue is good enough to push that forward. Oh, we have a new character. Let's meet them. Oh, they're kind of neat. I wonder how they're going to affect the plot. Wait, where are we now? And then all of the weird imagery, right? Like the what is it, Sanskrit or the Babylonian stuff? I don't remember exactly what.
It might be his own thing. I forget. To me, this printed a little dark. Like some of these scenes are really.
Once again, Bancroft has a little bit of trouble with his blacks.
Yeah.
The blicks.
He's given me trouble with the blacks on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's not,
but like the browns in here are really deep. It could have been just a little less saturated, but I don't want the hue to shift at all to, from brown to tan. It just seems heavy. But from here, like I could imagine this place would smell like my dad's pipe tobacco.
So he does use palette shifts, which I do appreciate. Granted, the palette shifts stay a particular tone all the way through, not a whole lot of variation. And the lighting, like you said, the darker values do print a little bit dark. I think it's Bancroft's first book. I'm pretty sure it's his first book. And no one's first book is perfect. In fact, people's books are very rarely perfect. No matter how long you've been doing it, your books are not going to be perfect. But I think what he's achieved here is done something where I am intrigued by a mystery of a book I don't understand. And that's what I'm trying to hammer home here is I don't understand the Lucent. I don't know what's going on, but I want to learn more. Didn't understand Entity, and I wanted to stop reading. I actually was like, I need to stop reading.
What causes that difference? That's what we want to focus on, is why the Lucent gives you that. I think it's
storytelling. I think the way that you're crafting the mystery, like you purposefully plan to a meta plot, right? And it felt to me that a lot of Tyler's answers and plot twists weren't thought out ahead of time before he got to them. It felt like he was almost retroactively, like almost retconning some of the things that he established earlier in the story in order to push the narrative forward. But it feels to me like Bancroft has very much created a world, very much created a series of characters, a scenario, and something. He's giving us little glimpses about how it works without giving us a vision of the entire picture, right? We're seeing bits of the tapestry, and it's all very purposefully laid out. And I think he's purposely laying it out that way. So there's a lot of intent that's going into it. And it felt like what was done with Entity was done a little bit more haphazardly. Well, not a little bit more, very much more haphazardly.
Yes, retcon. Everything is, I'm going to reveal everything you just read is not what you thought it was. I'm going to now spend a page of solid text telling you that it was something else, which I will change in 20 more pages. Yeah, that was, anyway, here we go. Mesopotamian stuff takes place during the period of Gilgamesh. I can still hear Odin typing his next chat where he expounds on what was going on in the period of Gilgamesh for us. I'll be sure to highlight it when it comes out.
So Odin knows a lot more about what the Lucent, what's going on in the Lucent than we do, I'm sure.
Oh, well, here.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Bancroft doesn't know what's going on either. Bancroft has an idea of a story that he wants to tell. He has characters, and the characters are driving it, but the characters are realized. Whether or not he knows exactly what the Lucent are, I mean, he has an idea of what they are, and he's showing us bit by bit. It also could be the fact that this is kind of just the first chapter, right? If we get the entire graphic novel. So the problem with Entity is it took over 100 pages to say something, and that something was incomplete. And the story it was trying to tell could have been done in 12. So it didn't finish telling a story that it took way too long to try and tell. The Lucent is much smaller, right? But it achieves something where it pulls me in and it gets its hooks in me, and I keep turning the pages. I just told Dojo in the chat, I'm no longer going to review books that I cannot get all the way through. And I have attention deficit disorder, and as a reader, right? Like, I don't enjoy reading. I read for work, right? I used to read for work. I used to read things and then, say whether or not they were good, and whether or not we should continue looking at them. But if I can't get through someone, I'm just going to treat it something. I'm just going to treat it like I did at stuff at my old job. I'm just going to put it over there and not talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to move on from this. All right. So what's really funny is that Odin came here to watch you have your spurg out, and I just say one little thing about this, and I already highlighted earlier that he had said that the text we couldn't read was cuneiform. Yeah, okay, here it is. That one. Yeah, sure. I highlighted it. All right, calm down. And after highlighting the other one, he's like, no, it's the follow-up text. Oh no. Anyway, and then I was clarifying for you guys. Really? Who's having the spurg out now? Okay. Yeah, I think I know what's going on.
Odin, I think you're also giving the general population a little bit too much credit. I mean, the majority of us are educated individuals and are at least passively familiar with the Gilgamesh myth, right? So, and Mo's making a joke about the sex scene between Gilgamesh and Enkidu. There are people out there who didn't take classics in high school, right? They aren't familiar with that mythology. They aren't familiar with those stories. Some people, had the opportunity to take that in college and maybe learned about it and forgot it. But there's things here that, the average idiot doesn't know. I am the average idiot, and I do know it. But
speaking of not knowing, I can't remember for sure. I want to call her Elsa, but I've got the cure in my head, and I keep thinking Elise. Anyone want to help us here?
Well, Ella. That's Ella.
Ella, there we go.
Yeah, Ella.
Okay. And we just lost a viewer. It's probably my fault for whining on the microphone. You said you were waiting for the paragraph long response. I know. Yeah, it was. Because I gave him the link to say we're talking about you, and I told him, here, listen. But anyway.
I mean, honestly, though, look at these pages. These pages are dope. I love this page. I love this
He's breaking panels. How dare he?
But it's good breaking panels. It's intensity, and it still reads left to right.
Yeah. Wait, you said you were waiting on a paragraph long response to explain the Gilgamesh. I know what I said. I'm just teasing you anyway. Wait, we got votes for Ella. Thank you, Ella. The thing about Ella here is it's very close to the mistake that I'm told was made in those books I never read with the vampire and the werewolf movies. The hell was that? The one where they were where they got glitter on them. Okay.
Are you comparing the Lucent to Twilight?
No, I'm contrasting.
I was gonna say I'm glad Bancroft left.
So anyway, well, let's see. I know what this is coming from. I'm not reading that out loud. Okay, so the thing he comes close to is Ella being a so-called every woman or every man character, but the problem in the Twilight writing, I'm told, was she had no character. You could put yourself into it, which was a trick learned by the author when she was attending. I have a friend who's an aspiring author. He went to all the same workshops that the author of Twilight did, but just like a couple years later, same workshop all over again. And so he knows who she knows. It's kind of thing. And it's the leaving room in a character for especially female readers to put themselves into the character, just like the Lego research showed how girls play with toys. And here we go. Bancroft probably loved Twilight. The other night he was gushing over the Notebook. So anyway, but she's not so much of an empty every woman. I got to know her by the changes she's going through, by her reactions to the changes she's going through. All right. But so I don't know who she is before the changes, but I could see her reacting to the changes and questioning things as she goes along. She's not completely hollow and empty, which is good. But because I got to know her, or I felt I got to know her a little bit, that's what kept me going. Oh, we got to talk about this Joy Division jacket, though. I've got words about the Joy Division coat.
I got a question, though.
Wait. I mean, because I felt I got to know her. Yeah. I felt I got to know her. That's what kept me going. I got to meet her family. All the other loose threads for me at the end of part 1 aren't a problem at all, which is why I brought up loose threads on the other thing too, because I'm hooked into what's going on with the main character. I care about what's going on with her, that kind of thing. And so everybody else is just interesting noise around that, and that's why it worked for me.
Right.
What's your question?
Who is Isham?
Are we even supposed to
remember?
know
She
yet?
goes to sleep. She has a dream. She wakes up in what looks like, I don't know, Bethlehem, Rome. I don't know where we are. Right?
Don't say Rome. Don't say Rome.
Unspecified time. Right? And Isham has a vision of this cinder giant, right, erupting into flame in front of him. And the cinder giant says, Isham says, "Begone, demon." The demon says, "We are no demon. I'm sorry. We are Isham, herald of the first seven, come to bestow upon an errant burden. You will take his light and carry it within you. You shall not depart this world until the coming of the next age." The guy says, "No, I want to die with my family. Your Lord was the one who chose you. It is decided upon that this rests. It is decided upon this rests the fate of all mankind." And then the guy goes, "No, I'm not worthy, blah, 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 blah." And then he appears in Rome, because there is Rome, through the water, and there's lightning. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm compelled. I'm compelled to keep reading because the story is compelling. This Cinder dude is not Mustache Man, right?
No.
Skeevy mustache face, whatever he was kind of like manipulating the plot and driving it forward. Well, this Cinder guy just teleported this poor hapless carpenter man into the water on a bolt of lightning after telling him he was chosen by God. Really, we should know who that is, right? This Ishun, we should know who that is.
Except it's parallel to what. Oh, sorry.
Exactly. I don't need to know. And that's the difference. This is moving the plot forward, but it's more of a device than a character whose motivations I need to understand. It's part of the mystery. So I just wanted to draw that parallel once again. This is an incident from a character in the book who does something significant to impact the plot and change the narrative, right? Like, instead of being in one place suddenly the other, it's something very dramatic, some very dramatic shift, much like Mustache Man calling the guy in the van saying, "Hey, let's have a riot." Except that bothers me. This doesn't.
Yeah. For me, what I saw going on
Can
with this was...
Can you read that out loud?
I'm afraid to. I might say things I don't know. Romam facit eliquis. Because I think in Latin I'm supposed to pronounce every letter.
If you say Odin Rome 3 times where you summon Odin to the panel, very good.
Yeah. Oh God. No.
I can't be here for long, but did someone mention Rome? Romam facit eliquis.
Maybe we did a little bit. Did you read the Lucent?
Yeah, I did. It's great.
So do you remember what Roman stuff is going on there?
No, because that happens in literally a blink of an eye moment. He just shows up. Yeah. He's surrounded by a bunch of Roman people and then bursts into flames.
Stab him to death, right? They stab him to death. He dies, and then he goes up in flames. But I have a question.
It's a very Roman thing to do.
Who would these Romans be stabbing to death? They're dressed as commoners, right? Would these be Jews? Who would these be?
Let's see. Did they tell us
murder in the street?
I've been elevated, Mo. I have transcended the wrench and am on the panel. But anyways,
time him out anyway.
So refresh my memory. Is this actually taking place in Rome?
Yes. It looks like it is. It looks like it's a flashback.
Does it give us a date?
No. Why would it give us a date?
Well, sometimes when you have a flashback, it'll say
this is the Lucent.
There's a reason I called the stream.
There are no dates. This shit's all happening in Dreamland.
Yes, this all happens in Dreamland.
Yeah, this is okay.
I mean, based off of the attire, those are all plebeians. So maybe someone's it's just beat down the poor people today.
Yeah,
well, I was going to ask you:
looks like
is this costuming? Is this even period accurate for this costuming here?
Are there Laura segmentatums correct?
So I can't answer that because I don't have a date.
We're
not getting a date for you.
I can't tell you whether or not it's accurate to the time period because I don't know the time period, which is absolutely true. But the scary thing is if you gave Odin a date, he would be able to tell you whether or not their attire matches the type of armor that was worn by the Roman legion at that time in history.
If it's any time before the Dacian campaigns of Trajan, no, not period accurate. Because that's when the
Mike's here, and Mo says, "Come out into the chat and say it to Bancroft's face."
Okay, I found it back
the
to
point is we don't need to know. We're watching these things occur, and it's blowing our wig back. We don't know who this guy is, what his connection to Ella is, but that mystery, that unanswered question, that burning desire to understand it is what keeps us turning those pages.
Bingo.
Entity created a crazy, unhinged, interconnected plot that didn't really make sense, but it should have been compelling. Wait, we're on Earth and there are zombies? Tell me about this virus. Wait, there are spaceships? Like, it should have been pushing us forward to turn pages to solve the mystery.
And it did
but it
not.
made me want to stop reading.
It made me turn pages out of obligation to get it done.
Bancroft mentioned that's why there are no dates. And that's good, because then I don't have to worry. My annoying little part in my brain that goes, why aren't they wearing the right type of armor?
You have that brain. You have that brain that pulls you out of the book. And I have the composition brain that pulls me out of the book.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, guys, I got to pop back off. I'm still at work. But
all right, dude.
Rome was mentioned 3 times, and I had a duty. So I will go. Roma Invicta Gloria, guys. You guys have a good night. Oh, speaking of, I will be doing a stream on Wednesday going after the Rome's Not Real lady at 10 p.m. EST with Matt Krotz and a potential special guest that I'm pretty excited to have. So
we should. Oh, dude, is it the Rome guy?
Yeah, maybe.
Yo, we gotta watch this shit. All right, I'm
okay. He says that he's gonna try and be there. He might be at work, but I'm gonna be giving him the stream link, and we'll be going as late as we can to try and make sure that he's there.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Is this 10 p.m. Eastern US?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right.
I'll find a link to your channel. I'll add it later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Get out of here, dude. That's going to be really cool. I mean, Odin's got a grudge against this chick who's been going around saying Rome's not real and giving all these weird theses. She reaches a conclusion like Alexander the Great was a woman. And then she cherry picks examples from like apocrypha in history because it's not actually supported historical sources. And then she works back to the hypothesis. So she's already reached the conclusion. And then she finds the proof to create the hypothesis. What if Alexander the Great was a woman? And here's how we can prove that. It's not, let's look at some examples of history and assess all of that. No, let's only talk about these tiny little things that might contribute to that degree of
dude, I studied apologetics and I forgot the other word that goes with it, but apologetics in Christian theology, and oh my gosh, you run into so much of that of debunking crap because that's what people do. Is I have a conclusion, now I cherry pick the evidence. That's
sadly academia in general. That's the academic trend, and it has been that way since like 2006. I mean, it's bad.
I've been waiting
where things like grievance studies come from.
By the way, I've been waiting to try and say something, and I keep trying to say it, but it's always a terrible time. No, it's the wrong time for me to interrupt you, and you're impossible to interrupt anyway. So, it was your wife said, where's your wife? Where's your wife? Oh, I'm invested. Okay, one of the things that got me invested that ties into what you were saying earlier, I feels like I'm belaboring, but I don't mean to. When this guy goes through his transformation that we don't totally understand, it's parallel to the transformation that Ella is going through, even though she's not on fire, and she's got the guy who can whip water around, near her, and she has her mentor, guide, boyfriend. I guess he's the werewolf in this, and whatever. So those are some of the things that intrigued me, was seeing, hey, I could see in here, there's a bigger world where things tie together and there are parallels happening. She's not the first. I don't know if this is inherited. I don't know if this is reincarnation, or what's going on there, but I'm not so confused that I can't grab onto anything. I can grab onto something. And that's where by the end of it, it wasn't you stopped too soon. It was too short. It was, okay, we have to stop here, even though I want more.
Oh. I mean, I think Mike could have given us another 10 pages, but that was the stopping point that he chose because the narrative is unfolding in a paced way. It's the same reason that like I gave you 74 pages of Mavericks instead of 200, right? Like, because I'm only going to be able to do the first book. I can't fund the entire thing. I'm not going to make that expense. It's $26,000 or something stupid like that. I'm not going to shell all that out if I can't cultivate an audience. So I'm going to do one book, see if I can get traction. If people like it, then I'll finish it. Otherwise, it's a no-go. That IP is dead. Let's try something else. A lot of people that, they do that. They throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
True. Actually, this is untrue. I don't have to wait for him to mute himself. Boop, there he is. He's muted. I can do it myself. I run this stream. I'm so not used to this. Neff, we're hitting 90 minutes, and I noticed that like we can burn a lot of people out. Is there anything else about the Lucent you want to say before we go? Because I'm not prepared to say much more. Other than the new
cover is pretty cool. Go check out Mike's site because you can get a second chance at getting the Lucent if you haven't already got it. I think everyone should read it. Looking forward to seeing the Lucent 2. He's leveled up his art game. I don't want to say considerably, but considerably. The art on Lucent 1 is good. This is the art that I've seen for Lucent 2 is ridiculous, and Rob Looper's work on the Lucent is incredible too. So you guys are you're gonna want to pick that up. No question.
Looper, I'm so glad to find him getting work after the debacle of the Critias thing. But man, Looper getting work makes me really happy because he's got so much skill. And I'm gonna say it before Mo types it. You say that that not Odin, the other Mike, Lucent Mike. I keep typing Lucent, whatever his name is. That Bancroft is written right there. Bancroft has upped his art game. Okay, Mo hasn't typed it yet. There was nowhere for his art game to go but up. Okay, there's a link in the chat. We can get Lucent products right there. Now, I guess this entire stream is now an advertisement. Neff, thanks for chatting with me about books.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
your
having me
time. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a good night. See you next week. Thanks for being here.